Welcome back, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and we continue today with another video from Heroes Con. We are still doing creator signings, and this is still day one. In fact, this is the last group of artists I got on day one, and we're just going to pop right into this. So sit back right now, enjoy some of the footage, and then we'll come back and we'll do that show and tell. Daryl, how you doing? Do you mind signing a few books?
Sure. How many do you have?
I got 3.
Okay.
How much owe you for everything?
10.
How am I not surprised we got the green marker? That's awesome.
It all started years ago. I had just multi-colored markers, and I grabbed the green. It was not intentional, and someone said, "Oh, thanks for signing the green." I'm like, yeah. I'm like, "Oh, right." That
it was subconscious. That's what it was.
You know what? Let's go with that.
I used to be a big minor league autograph collector.
Oh, yeah?
And had this guy for years. Never knew his name, but he got every baseball he signed by every player in a green ballpoint pen.
Okay.
And it was like the oddest thing ever. And we never knew his name, so we called him Green Pen Guy.
Green Pen Guy.
GPG. That was his nickname.
Okay. And you never found out who it was?
Yeah, I mean, we knew him for years. He was kind of a loner, so we.
Okay.
But like we never needed. After that, we didn't know his name. It was GPG.
Okay.
He'd come into the house, GPG. Well, I appreciate it. It's good meeting you, man.
Nice meeting you too.
Take care.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
That was my nickname. It was a fun play, though.
No, the crown was basically made so everything I didn't even do it.
And then on the other side of the main entrance, our friends at the Fine Print Shop have got some other t-shirts for you. They've got dozens of designs to pick from,
Just a signature
two
will be
we're
fine.
debuting this year.
No, I saw that down there.
25th anniversary for Heroes Con Indie Island. We've got an image by Dustin Harbin, as well as by the, let's call her international superstar, Natalie Anderson. Some amazing images. That's over at the Fine Print Shop by the main entrance to Heroes Con. Thanks so much.
After all, it is the Silver Age, right?
Exactly, that was what I was thinking. There's got to be a better way to do this.
If there is, we haven't figured it out yet.
Me either. Come on. Break it. This batch.
The silver Sharpies are awful. The gold ones are fantastic.
Yeah, well, no, you know what? I've had better experiences with this one. I think it's because it's brand new, so it's literally just waiting for the flow to kind of get going. But there we go. It is good. It worked. We're there.
Thank you, sir.
And then. Do you want me to? Oh yeah. Well, not on that though, because I don't want to get. Just scribble on that. There we go.
No, look at it. It's fine now.
Yeah, there we go.
Of course.
Of course.
Not on an actual cover.
Well, that's the problem, is that sometimes it's the surface actually makes it tricky with the,
if there's some oils. Or
maybe
or just
over
the
here.
gloss of the cover.
I gotta say, this was one of my favorite books this year so far.
Oh, thank
the
you.
art just blew me away. I mean,
Oh.
art's always good, but it was shockingly good for this series.
Well, do you know what? I just really wanted. I'm. You probably can tell that I'm spending a vast amount of my time just lost in 60s and early 70s comics.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm buying a lot of those comics, and I'm also buying art. So I'm
nice.
basically I'm on a training course to kind of just spiritually get
Well, you can
back
tell
there,
that
you know?
the sequence with the Juggernaut in motion across those panels is like, okay, this isn't modern comics now. This is back to classic storytelling.
Yeah. So I mean, that's always been a part of me. But I purposefully, knowing that I was going to spend the year basically being a Marvel artist again. I was kind of like, I want to be a really good Marvel artist. I just wanted to kind of produce the kind of comics that I would have wanted to be reading.
Absolutely.
And, to hark back to that
well,
era.
That's why this got brought in. I mean, it's just a regular issue. It's, you know, it's not a key or anything like that, but this blew me away.
But
So.
I mean, even with the cover design, I was kind of it was more old school. It was more like you know, around issue 50 to 60 of Buscema on Avengers.
Oh.
It was that kind of like main figure, other characters, in your face, dynamism. I'm just trying to get. That's the kind of spirit that I'm after. I want stuff that leaps off the page and feels solid. You know.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
So good stuff.
But I love that you love it.
Got some
Thank
tips
you. Oh, thank you so much.
for everything. Thank you so much, Mark.
Pleasure seeing you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Signature, sir? I'll just walk around.
Absolutely. And let me give you the Marvel book here.
I don't wander around, but I will swing by.
Okay.
Chris, you mind just doing that in regular blue Sharpie on that one?
Team sport.
Anywhere you want. It doesn't matter at this point. I'm literally going to be filling the page up. This book came out in 1992. So
there's no way my name is in it.
you're not in there. But it's 50 years of Marvel. But so, I mean,
But you're in the G sections where he's, I think.
but I literally have filled this book up. I mean, you can go through the front of it, all the empty pages. So I'm literally.
to me with this page, so I'll just sign on this page. If that's
It's the new page that's going to get filled up. Some fun stuff, I tell you. I love everything.
thank you.
Have a good show.
$10 each, but you got to take them out of it. Yeah, we used to sign them all on the inside.
Yeah, that's old school. I just got Jim about a month ago. He was up at Philly for Philly Fan Expo.
Oh, okay.
So you
ahead.
ended up being editor-in-chief
Yes.
starting at that time because I had 293 for Jim, and I'm realized it's like Shooter was still editor-in-chief on that issue, and y'all switched in the middle of this.
You know, those were the days. Yeah. We were not expecting a change.
How's Jim doing? Because I've heard his health hasn't been that good.
I have heard that his health is not good at all. I just heard it this weekend, so.
It's about the same. Because I saw where he canceled, and then I asked, and somebody said, yeah, that things are not looking all that great. So, Ron, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, sir. How's the show been for you?
It's been long. It feels bigger than it's ever been.
Is that right?
It feels massive.
Feels like it.
I mean, it's always big, a big lineup, but this one feels bigger than normal.
See, you got to get into independent comics, and then you won't be alone.
Well, that's starting day 2. I've got another box out in the car.
Gotcha. Well, if everybody does that, that means we'll be dead tomorrow. So.
We'll see. Have you spoken with Sal lately?
I have not. It hasn't been that long since I spoke to him, but unfortunately, it was mostly just about a job he was working on, and not about what's going on with him personally. But last I heard, he's doing okay.
Good.
Still bowling.
It's good. Is he still up in the northern, like the D.C. area,
Yeah,
Virginia, Northern Virginia?
Yeah, somewhere around in Virginia.
Okay. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Guess what? There's all new Dead Squirrel Log. Beware of imitations. Only the finest dead squirrels are used in Dead Squirrel Log. From Blammo, of course.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Very good. Do you have time to sign a couple books?
Of course.
Crazy illustration, and the detail, I mean, must take you forever.
It takes a while. This one issue took about 5 years to do.
Wow.
I'm on page 8 of the next one. I've been bogged down with a lot of outside projects. I'd really like to just be able to focus on the next one because there's still 2 chapters to go. And where this is 40 pages with an 8-page gallery, the next one is going to be about 50 pages. So it'll be a little heftier.
Yeah. Well, I just remember when it came out, and I'm like, that's some crazy, crazy detail.
Well, I also do the book to actual size, so what you see is exactly how big the original is.
Really?
And it's all done with a brush.
That's even crazier. How much owe you for the
Oh,
autographs?
I don't know. I don't charge.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks. It was a pleasure meeting you. I'm looking forward to it. So, how long do you think?
I couldn't even say. Hopefully, like 2 years. If I'm lucky, I can get it done in 2 years.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed some of that footage from the con. Again, I apologize in each of my videos for the amateurish style that was going on there. I've got the strap on with the camera attached to my chest, basically, and it is hard for me to stay. If I'm picking the books up from the artist, I'm continually moving. But I hope that you get some of the sense of my experience at the show, and I'm sure this is kind of your experiences at the shows as well, and I hope you get something out of it. I hope you're entertained by this. I know I enjoy showing this off to everybody, and I just hope you enjoy it. But, so, let's just pick it up right here, and we'll finish up day 1 before we even get to the days 2 stuff. So, first up right here was Daryl Banks, and somebody I'd never met before, and to be quite honest, I saw him on the list. I know what books I would want. I just didn't know where they were. And it wasn't until 2 days before the con when I went through the batch of books that's sitting in the office, and I've got a bunch there, and basically it's a lot of new comic books as well as a lot of recent pickups, and it's just kind of been stockpiled there, and I wasn't sure what was right there. So I went through everything again so there wouldn't be a book that I'd regret missing. And I was able to find all 3 of the Daryl Banks books that, for me, are very significant for him. So let's just start with Green Lantern number 48. And you're going to see a theme right here. We got issue number 50. And, of course, the Tom Brady Super Bowl ring cover with issue number 49. I'm sorry, I'm out of order there. So you see that he signed all of these in a green pen, and honestly, I cannot remember if I left this in the video or not, but one of the cool things that I had a conversation about was talking about my history as a minor league baseball autograph seeker for years. And my main stadium I always went to was here in the Baltimore, D.C. area, the Bowie Bay Sox, the Double-A team for the Baltimore Orioles. And all those years starting out around 95, 96, and those late 90s years, there was a fellow there. He was a little bit older than all of us, and all he ever did was get a team ball signed, but he always did it in a green ballpoint pen. And I told him the story. I told Daryl this story, and it's one of those things, why did I share this? But it was just so weird. And we literally never knew his name, but we started naming him Green Pen Guy, GPG. Yeah, it was really weird. And that's what we called him every time we come, hey, GPG. And he knew, and we talked to him one day about it, and it's just like he wanted to do something unique, and he actually got to the point where he has to order the Bic green ballpoint pens special order. You can't go to Staples and get them, and that was always pretty cool. But that's why one of the things that Daryl Banks was doing, signing all of these in green, and that's how that conversation got started. He didn't even realize he had picked up a green pen one day, he was telling me, and just started signing these with a green pen, and it didn't even dawn on him that until somebody said, hey, thanks for signing it in green, that's so cool, because it's a Green Lantern, right? Then he didn't even realize what he had done. It's definitely an unconscious, subconscious thing that he did right there. But it was a nice interaction with Daryl Banks right there. And then I moved over to Mark Buckingham, who I've met before, but I had skipped the last couple years, but I really wanted to go this year, mostly because of this book right here. It's not a key, but it is one of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man issues. It's 68 point deaths. It's not one of the regular, it's one of those in-between issues. And it's honestly more of an X-Men book. And I have a great conversation with him, and I hope you enjoyed some of that right there. But this book, the art blew me away because it was honestly the best art in the Spider-Man book in over the last year, while this last series, the last volume of books was going on. I'm not talking about the current series that just started 5 months ago. I'm talking about the old series that ended up with the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. And this right there was my favorite story. It was because of the illustration. When he talked about how he was rechanneling his being a Marvel artist again, and he kind of was going back and really looking at those 70s books. And I said, you can see it in there because you can see the framing. There's this one shot of the Juggernaut walking through, and you can see the motion from panel to panel to panel. It's across the double-page spread, and that's very 70s-like, very 60s-like, but he's channeling 1970s Marvel art at that point, and you can see it for sure in this book. But that wasn't the only thing that got signed by Mark Buckingham. He did sign the Marvel Comics issue number 1 of Miracle Man right here, and it's in gold up here at the top because it is kind of the golden age. It doesn't say that, of course, but it is very gold on the cover. But this issue here was the Silver Age Miracle Man number 1, and this is issue number 1, Legacy number 23, and he butchered signing this in a awful silver Sharpie right there. He literally butchered that. He took a crap on my book on that one. And what are you going to say at the time? But please and thank you, can I have another? And maybe I'll look for another copy of this at some point. It's one of those things where you never know if the artist pens are going to throw ink. You appreciate the ones that take the time to start the pen on a scrap piece of paper to make sure the ink is flowing before they just put their pen on this. And I'm not coming down on Mark Buckingham, but I wish he had taken that moment to test the pen instead of seeing how bad it was and then go back over the autograph. It makes it look worse. Just stop. You should just apologize and like, oh, dude, I'm sorry, I'm not charging for this one. But that was it for Mark Buckingham. I had a nice experience with him. And then we moved on to somebody that I had never met before, never even seen at a con. And to be honest with you, I wasn't sure I was going to get any books signed until this one came out just recently. It's, I'm going to mispronounce this, Chris Giarrusso. And he's got some really great covers. There's a lot of covers that have come out recently, and I went through all of my new comic books recently, and I couldn't find a single one except for the homage to Hulk 181. So he signed that. It's in this blue painter's pen up there. He also signed the book, and honestly, I'd have to go back and watch the footage. He looked for himself in the 5 Fabulous Decades of Marvel book that I gave him to sign, because the page I gave him to sign was on one of the index pages, and it was turned to the G section, but that was not intentional for him. But he was looking for his name, and I said, dude, I don't even think you were born at this point. This book came out in 92. He probably was a few years old at that point. I don't think he's that young, but that was kind of funny. But he signed this and that book and this book right there. And then I made my way to the other side of the show. Now, all of these artists up to this point were all on one side of the show, over near the Chris Claremont lines and John Romita and everybody you saw in I'm just thinking that the previous video, most of those artists are all in this same area. But at this point, I went over to the other end of the show. We're getting towards the end of the day, and I'm kind of trying to wrap up and get whoever I can get at this point. And it was, I have all my books with me, or most of my books with me, and I'm just trying to knock it down. I'm not going to go to, at that point you couldn't get into the Scotty Young line. It had already been shut down. The Jenny Frison line was way too long. So you look at some of the other people that don't have a line hardly at all, and he's like, hey, maybe I can get in there. Now, a lot of them are doing art, and I'm not doing any signatures right now. They're doing commissions, which kind of sucks, because a lot of people are doing commissions when you have that opportunity to get that autograph. Well, they're doing something else, and you kind of got to respect that. But I was able to go then see Tom DeFalco, and you've already seen some of his books that he signed that was also signed by John Romita Jr. You saw that in the Romita video. But Right beside him at the same corner was Ron Friends. Of course, both of them have worked together for years on multiple books, Thunderstrike, Thor, Spider-Girl, and things like that. So what I was able to do was get the Falco in some of these books and then turn around and get Friends. So let's just go through these. So we got issue number, well, I'm doing these out of order, 412. The first appearance, well, the first full appearance of the New Warriors. You've got Ron Friends right there. You got Tom DeFalco up the top. DeFalco wrote this. Friends did the art. Joe Stennett did the inking, which makes the book look even fabulous. And the issue before, which is the first cameo appearance of the New Warriors, issue 411 right there. DeFalco's right there, and Ron Friends is down there at the bottom. These are both very nice copies. They may get graded, I don't know. I wasn't going to get this book signed. In fact, I didn't get it signed at this exact moment. I actually got this signed the last day. And it was because I had another book from another artist who did the cover to a particular Spider-Man book, Charles Vess. But the interior of that Spider-Man issue was written, of course, by DeFalco, and the art was by Friends. And I needed to get that book signed after I got Charles Vess to sign it. So I had to make a return trip, and I said, well, I might as well go ahead and get this signed. It's issue number 75 of Spider-Girl. And this is a book now I would love to see Sal Buscema again to get him to sign because he did the art in the interior. And then lastly, I had 2 copies of Spider-Man 265, the first appearance of the Silver Sable. And you've got Tom DeFalco, Ron Friends, and at some point, and I don't know where it is, I haven't been able to find it in the videos yet, I did stop by Joe Rubenstein's table, and he signed a couple of these as well. So they're all signed, I think, yeah, pretty much in the same spot on all of these right there. And both of these copies are actually gradable copies, so these may go into CGC as well. Well, as I said, we are closing in on the last hour of the day at this point, and I'm trying to knock anything I can knock out. And coming down in the artist alley area where you got a lot of independent artists, you actually had Bob Camp, who was instrumental with Ren and Stimpy, the Ren and Stimpy show. And even though he didn't work on this comic book, he did help create Ren and Stimpy. And he signed a couple of issue number 1s right here. And he was very personable. I mean, for somebody as old as him, he kind of acts like a 12-year-old, which kind of that happy, joy 12-year-old. And he was great with the people in front of me. He had a young kid and just great with the kids and everything. So I got a couple of copies of these signed. And then lastly, the last person I got was somebody also in the independent area right there. And he was talking with some people that were a family that was interested in some of his art and everything. And this is somebody I'd never really, I never knew who this was. But I had picked up the book when it came out because the illustration was just crazy detailed and it looked really good. I remember it had some buzz on it when it came out on the stands. And so I picked up a couple copies of Cursed Pirate Girl, The Devil's Cave by Jeremy Bastian. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he was very nice. He spent some time with me. He was the last person I got on day 1. And he signed a couple copies I had of that. And we talked about the book a little bit. And I hope that's in the video as well. It literally took him 5 years, I think he said, to do this book, the illustration. And the curious thing that he did, this is done to size. It's not like a typical comic book art, which is closer to that 11 by 17 size, then it gets reduced down to a normal comic book size. This right here, he actually did all of this with a brush and at this exact size, and that was kind of crazy. But he had a beautiful signature right there. You can see it. Yeah, he had a beautiful white pen right there. It's actually very beautiful. And I just saw the Baltimore Comic-Con post on their Facebook page that Jeremy Bastian is going to be in Baltimore. So if you guys want to meet him, definitely come this fall in October and you can meet Jeremy there at the show and get some more books. He's working on some follow-ups to this, and he said it's going to take a while because of how long it does take these illustrations to be created. Anyway, guys, that is a quick video today compared to some of the other ones that came up before this. Hope you enjoyed everything, and if you did, definitely give me a like, slap that subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming episodes that I'm putting out each and every week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. And guys, if you did enjoy this video today, definitely give me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know if you're fans of these artists or not. I'd love to know. If you don't like these artists, you can tell me that too. I don't care. But let me know what you think about the books I got signed, or these books you would get signed. Again, I'd love to know. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. Stay tuned for the next upcoming episode in this series. We'll get to day 2 finally, and then eventually day 3, and then hopefully we'll get back to regular CGC unboxings and comic book hauls and new comic book day videos at some point here. But until then, remember, every comic has a story.